You're listening to 8158 Stories of Sacrifice, where we honor the bravery of the first responders and the families who stand behind them. Real people, real stories, real heroes. This is 8158.
Welcome back to another episode of 8158 Podcast Stories of Sacrifice. Today's guest, we have DeWayne Brown. He is the founder of Shepherd's Light. It is a 501c nonprofit organization, and he is also former law enforcement. So let's welcome DeWayne to the podcast. How's it going, buddy?
It's going great, man. It's going great. How are you doing?
Oh, just fabulous. Always staying busy.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on the show today.
You're very welcome, and we appreciate it, and we are honored to have you here. We're always honored to have any first responder to come on the show, especially ones that are, doing nonprofits that are helping first responders and veterans as well. So
awesome.
So kind of give me a little bit of background about your childhood. What led you into law enforcement? Can you talk about your background as a child growing up?
Yeah. So actually, I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina. And at a young age, I didn't know my father at all. And my mother ended up moving away and leaving me with my grandparents. And so I kind of grew up with them. And just at the late teenage years, man, I just started getting in a little bit of trouble and
Right.
with where I'm at now. And so I ended up moving here around my early 20s here in North Georgia. Yeah.
So you're from Chattanooga, and then you moved to where you are now in South Carolina?
No, actually, I was in South Carolina and moved just outside of Chattanooga in North Georgia.
Okay. So you said you were starting to get in trouble in your early formative years as a teenager?
Yeah. Just being raised by your grandparents, they were doing all they could do to help me out here, and just rebellious child, and just having some resentment towards my parents, not having them around. And just one thing turned into another. Never gotten in trouble with law, but it was going that way pretty quick. I recognized it and ended up moving to North Georgia, just outside of Chattanooga, where I had some brothers and sisters at.
Trust me, I understand that perfectly well, except for I went the other way.
Yeah. So
I was still a stubborn knucklehead.
When I got here, I mean, I was always how men are, type A personalities, want to go out and do things and love the adrenaline. I ended up meeting some people and started my first responder career as a volunteer fireman.
Oh, okay.
And
That's good.
I did that for 14 years, but in the midst of that, I was wanting more, and ended up finding some guys that said, "Hey, you ought to come and join law enforcement." So I said, well, let me go do that then too. So that's what I did. I ended up starting my law enforcement career at a sheriff's department in Georgia here. Started out as a jailer, did that for about 8 months, and then went to mandate school. And when I got out of it, they put me straight on the road answering calls, but that didn't last long just because I was pretty gung-ho, aggressive, making the cases, and I ended up going to a specialized unit for a K-9 for 2 years. And I fell in love with that, just working narcotics. After that, I was given the opportunity to join a federally funded drug task force that the sheriff's department was a part of.
Wow.
When I did that, I went into there, and I was just a regular agent, just working narcotics cases, working confidential informants and that kind of stuff. I built my way into working undercover for several years. After that, I made my ranks in through the supervision and made it up to the deputy commander. And then before my tenure was over with, I was the commander of the drug unit for all of Northwest Georgia. Yes, sir.
You was the man.
Yes, sir.
You was the man.
Some would say it. Yeah.
So give me a little bit more detail about your firefighting career. Do you have any memorable moments, whether it's positive or negative, or anything that stands out to you that you might want to talk about?
Man, I tell you, I just love the adrenaline of it. Just to go into a burning house and just to just to fight the fire. I did enjoy doing the rescue part, doing some technical rescue with extrication or ropes and stuff like that. But I would just say it was such a long time ago because that was the first part of my career. I enjoyed it. I just loved the adrenaline rush, but the narcotics is where I ended up at.
Right.
And fell in love with it.
Now, was there anything that may have hindered you mentally with that job?
The
with
firefighting?
Yeah.
When I started that, I ran into a couple incidences where we had some deceased people that we had to recover that we found in there. And I remember my first one, I actually crawled right over him. And when I realized it, it kind of set with me. As guys back then, we just kind of played it off. Just played it off as another incident. We had to get another one, and I think more of because we ran a bunch of medical calls, car wrecks, and that kind of stuff too. Those ended up seeing some kids that were in some pretty bad wrecks that we dealt with. But it didn't kind of push me away. It just kind of made me look to another avenue. I think that's why I ended up in law enforcement.
Right. So we can jump into your law enforcement career. You said you were pretty gung ho. So what was that like for you, being gung ho in the department? Because you were a deputy, right?
I was a deputy, man. When I got out, it was, of course, I wanted to go out and try to save the world.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you know how that is. And just one call at a time, and one thing led to another, and just being proactive instead of reactive. Specialized units started noticing me in the cases that we were making and the quality cases. So that's how I ended up getting shifted over to the K9 unit. But I also got recruited by our SWAT team.
Oh.
I served 15 years on our SWAT team also. So that just that's how the gung ho went. Ended up getting me into the narcotics unit, just the high speed, low drag,
Right.
and let's go get it. That's what I was looking for every day.
Now, do you have any stories you'd like to share with us when you're doing your undercover ops for the drug task force?
And I tell you, the one that really stands out and that I did it for, I worked undercover for DEA Chattanooga. And we were working a fentanyl pill case, working a pill press. And I had worked my way into this organization. And they decided after the case was made that they wanted to take it down, but they wanted me to do one last buy. And I went in and did one last buy, and they went in and hit him with a warrant and ended up telling him that he had been working with an undercover guy before. And they just would not. I mean, he would just not accept it. He was like, no, there's no way there was an undercover guy here. Like, all my guys are close to me, man. I know my guys. And they ended up coming in and asking me because they wanted him to break, because they wanted him to flip.
Yeah.
They wanted him to flip to find the pill press. Right. And so they asked me if I'd come in and introduce myself as the undercover agent to it. And I was real hesitant about it, but I went on and did it. And I remember walking over to the SUV truck, and I opened the door, and he said, "Hey, D, what's up, man? They got you too?" I said, "No, man. No, I'm the one on the other side here." And I pulled my badge out from my badge chain I had on. And he said, "There's no way, man. There's no way. Why are they making you lie?" And I said, brother, it ain't like that. You've been on the other end, and it's time to come clean right now. And he just absolutely broke down. He absolutely broke down. He had put his trust in me. And I thought about that afterwards, man, was truly a double life that I was living.
Right.
Yeah, because I was trying to come home and live a life like that. Then I was going to work and living a totally different life also. So that was probably one of the most memorable moments as a undercover agent. The guy just had so much trust in me. It was unreal.
Wow. I bet you that took a lot of work earning that trust. A lot of work. Hey, kudos to you, man. You did it. And obviously you had this guy bamboozled.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, think about it, boy. I did. I was good at what I did, man. That was it. I put everything I had into my career. I would try to be the best that I could be.
Right. Well, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And, I've never done anything like that. So I wouldn't know. I mean, I know the drug deal side of it. I've seen it. I've been around it. Actually, we have neighbors that are dealing methamphetamines, but we can't really say because we've never seen it, but we see the constant traffic
Right.
and the types of people that come through here. They're pretty. They're right on the mark for meth users.
Yeah, they kind of stick out sometimes.
Yeah, and when you see tons of different traffic coming through, sometimes you see the same people, sometimes you see different cars, and it's like these people don't work. They're
Hmm.
not at work. I mean, my wife and I, we work a full-time job, then we come home and we do this stuff, and then we see all this traffic at night coming through. We got cameras all the way around the house because of that.
Yeah, yeah,
You
I
know.
don't doubt it. Yeah. Yeah, because I tell you, just talking about the meth, man, we worked over in 1 year because our agency led when the meth epidemic hit Georgia, the meth labs. We were consistently for about 4 years leading agencies to recover meth labs in the state of Georgia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we worked over 300 in 1 year.
Jeez. Wow. Yeah, I was definitely affected by it. My older brother, he was on it really bad. And he, unfortunately, I was working nights when I lived in Ohio, and he lived in Michigan. And I was driving for a trucking company called Ruan, and I would drive from 3 in the afternoon till 3 in the morning. And I would come home, and everything that I worked for and earned was gone. And I knew it was my brother because there was pictures of my mom missing off the wall.
Mm, yeah,
And I knew
yeah,
he was on that stuff. So
yeah.
I had to report it, but it sucked to see that
Hmm.
my brother was in such a position to want to do that to your own family. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
TVs, computers, my laptops that I use for work had all my banking information on it, all that stuff.
Mm.
But he didn't find any of the precious metals that I had stashed in my house, nothing like that.
That's a good thing,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, but it wasn't much longer that, I was dating my wife at the time, and she's lived down here in Kentucky. Her and I
Mhm.
met in Montana, and she went to Oregon to go to school, and then eventually I moved here up to Ohio to work, and then she moved to down here in Kentucky, and she was doing a billing specialist for an interpreting agency. So her and I got together, and I just decided I'm just going to move down there and get the hell out of here.
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the time, my cousin, he just retired from the army, and he'd been in the National Guard for 20 years,
Hmm.
and he was a sheriff's deputy for 13 years
Okay. Yeah.
in Hillsdale County. That's why we started this podcast in his honor.
Okay.
Uh, Unfortunately, he lost his life in the line of duty, and obviously, it was because of a meth addict,
Mm.
and he was en route to um, back up his deputies. And when he arrived on scene, there was a shot fired, and he caught it to the neck to his
Mm.
head.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that.
Appreciate that. And he was probably the best one out of everyone in our family. Yeah.
Yes.
He was the
Yeah.
one that I looked up to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Methamphetamines destroyed some lives. That's for sure.
A lot of lives. But,
Yeah.
and the silver lining is that now we are doing this podcast with first responders and, people like you that have had the experiences and that can share your stories so that other first responders can hear your stories and relate to that. And, we heard about the mental health aspect of first responders and their jobs, which struck us like, wow, we never really realized that. We never seen it that way. So we kind of spearheaded that. And that's why we did this podcast the way we do it, is because we want to bring action and also awareness to the
Mhm.
first responder world in the aspect of the mental health awareness part of it.
Yes. That's amazing. That's amazing because I'm telling you, that's what's lacking. The guys and the gals out there that are working this on the front line, man, they see this day in and day out. And they're supposed to just shut it off when they go home after their 12 hours. It
Doesn't
doesn't
happen.
happen.
No.
Doesn't happen. And then you get told you have to do the John Wayne theory, as I call it. You just suck it up. You man
Right.
up, you woman up. You don't have
Right.
emotions, and you tuck it away, and you just keep going, and all that just keeps building, man. And by the time it starts to rear its ugly head, a lot of times it's too far, and you feel like there's no hope. and nobody cares or nobody understands what's going on with you, and you feel isolated. And that's the stigma we got to stop.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do is help to stop the stigma. We've talked to tons of first responders, a lot of law enforcement and firefighters, EMS that have gone through similar situations and that they're going through the same exact thing because of that job, because they have nowhere to turn. So they can't talk to their superiors, because if they do, they're in fear of losing their jobs. They're in fear of losing, the respect of their peers. And there's like a myriad of issues that are going on with that. The other part that we do here is we connect people with mental health counselors and therapists that we have connected with, so that they can have help for free if they need it. And it's all confidential because it's outside of their, I forgot what they call that. It's a little acronym that they use, that the departments sometimes have counselors in the departments, but we work with people outside of that realm that are trauma informed, that have been first responders, and that do this job for free to help first responders.
Yep.
And so, I mean, that's kind of what we do with the podcast, is like we're going beyond just interviewing people. We're actually trying to get involved and helping people.
Right. And that's one of the reasons why I reached out and said to where I was at. That's where I was at in 2020 and 2021 and 2022 was I was that guy that just walked away from my career after 26 years as being the guy, the commander, just walked away from it, went into isolation, went into depression, having anxiety, ready to commit suicide in 2022. Because I felt like there was nobody out there that understood or had hope or had a department that would support me.
Right.
And so that's why I ended up, and that's why I'm here today with this nonprofit, is helping those people that are going through the same thing that I went through, and knowing that there's hope and healing out there for them.
Oh, absolutely. There is a lot of support out there. And that's what we're trying to do, is bridge the gap for the first responders to find that support. And so I kind of wanted to know more about your nonprofit organization and what is that about?
So if you don't mind, I'll give you a little backdrop of how I got to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
So in 2020, I was out with my guys and we were doing some warrants, and I overheard a domestic call in one of the counties that we were in. And so the backup, it was real rural. The backup was a long ways away. This guy was by himself, and it sounded pretty intense. A guy that was holding a female against her will, had beat her up pretty good. And so me and my guys, it was about 8 of us. We were about 10 minutes away, so we decided to respond. And we actually arrived with the first deputy at the same time. And we ended up encountering the male, the aggressor in this. And he brandished a weapon. And we ended up having to be involved in an officer-involved shooting. And, this wasn't the first time that things like this had happened. And, I thought, hey, I'm good. I talked to the state investigators and everything. Everything was good. And they put us on leave as normal, took your guns away from you, had to do the ballistic test and everything. And when I came back, it just felt different. I was feeling different. I was getting a little emotional. I was starting to cry. I never cry. And there was something about it when they handed my firearm back to me, my duty weapon. They gave it back to me in the evidence box that they had put it in. And when I looked at it, I was like, man, I don't want to even touch that. And I was a gun guy. I was the gun guy.
Right.
So a little bit of time passed by, and I said, I just can't do this right now. Like, I need to take some time. And so I transitioned over to a general detective from my narcotics unit to give me a little bit of time. And they did do some debriefing with me and, post stuff after the shooting. And I ended up going to a counselor that they had sent me to, but it just didn't work. There was nothing coming out of it. And I said, I can't do this anymore. Like, I was just breaking down, just emotional, every day that I walked into work and at home. And so in 2021, I just walked away from it. I said, I'm done. I'm done. I didn't have another job. I didn't have anything else. I just knew I didn't want to be there, and I couldn't do it anymore, which was the wrong thing to do because I went into isolation, man, and I got in depression. I was drinking heavily, trying to cope with it, trying to ease my pain. And in 2022, March of 2022, I come to the decision that nobody ever understood what I was going through, and that this world would be better off without me, and that I didn't need it. I didn't need this anymore. That I couldn't handle it. And so I had made the decision I was going to end it all. And I walked out into my shop, and I had picked up my phone, and for some reason I had a notification on Facebook Messenger, and I looked at it, and it was from a guy that I knew that I hadn't talked to like regularly in a couple years. And he just said, "Hey, man, you're on my heart, and I wanted to check on you." And I kind of looked at it, and I kind of grew up in church a little bit with my grandparents, and I knew who the Lord was. I knew who God was, and I said, "Oh, I had got saved as a young child." You know how that goes in a Southern Baptist church where they herd you in and want everybody saved. But it kind of rang off to me, and then he said, "I turned into a pastor." Well, I had drank with this guy the last time I was with him,
Right.
and he said he was a pastor now. And I kind of broke down to it. I just broke down to him. I said, "I don't know why I'm telling you this. You're not in law enforcement. I don't know." And he said, "DeWayne, God's got you." And I knew enough about God at that point that it wasn't a coincidence at that point. You know what I mean? So I decided not to do it. And I talked with him some more. And then God said, "I wasn't finishing with you there," because 2 days later, a guy shows up to buy a piece of property next to mine from California, from Coronado. And I knew the kind of property was for sale, but then they asked me to show it to him. And I was like, "I've only been out there a couple of times." He just doesn't want to meet the owners. He wants somebody neutral to show it to him.
Okay.
And I was like, "Okay." So I went over there and I met this guy. His name was Matthew Height. Come to find out, he was a former Navy SEAL, lived in Coronado still, was in commercial real estate, and he was looking to get out of California in a couple years. He was looking to piece property. So we kind of connected, started talking about law enforcement. And so that was kind of the end of that day. And then 2 weeks later, he called me because we exchanged phone numbers. I hadn't really talked to him. I was still kind of doing my thing up and down. And he said, "Hey, man, I'm not going to move there for a couple of years. Will you take care of this piece of property?" Now, let me tell you, this piece of property is a $1.8 million piece of property that he bought.
Wow.
And I've only met the guy for like 2 hours. And he calls me up and says, "Hey, I want you to take care of this piece of property." And I said, "Why me?" And he said, "I just trust you. Like, I want you to take care of this piece of property for me." So I said, "Okay, well, it's somewhere I can go and hang out." You know what I mean?
Right.
And get away from the world and life. And he ended up coming like a month later, and he sits down and we're talking, and he's on the board for a nonprofit foundation called Mighty Oaks Foundation, which helps military veterans and first responders dealing with PTS and suicide prevention. And he looked at me and he says, "You're going through some things, man. You might need to go." And I thought about it. So I went and looked it up, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll go, but I won't go, maybe."
Right.
And I ended up finding out that they had a campus. They got like 3 campuses. They had a campus that they did horseback riding on as part of their program. Well, I've never ridden a horse.
Never
Ridden a horse.
Wow.
So I said, "Man, you know what? I'm going to go on a free trip, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to ride a horse." That's how broken I was. That's how far I gone on the dark side I was, because I put all my hope into riding a horse. Not trying to get help, not my family, not me. I just wanted to go ride a horse. That's how bad I was off. So I ended up in late October, November of 2022. I ended up in California at this program. And when I walked in the door, there was 21 other guys. And I looked around, there's 21 other broken guys here. And I remember standing up, they asked me why I was there. And I said, "Because if this doesn't work, there's nothing else. There's no other options for me. And I'm going to check out. Like, I'm done." And I remember a guy named Chad Moyer coming up to me afterwards, and he said, "Man, I'm so proud of you. Like, you give me inspiration." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "For you to get up there and stand and say that you were that broken." It kind of hit me. I was like, "Man, really? How am I influencing somebody? I'm so broken." I kind of took that and I went through the program. It was a week-long program, and they had me, man, I was still seeing some counseling, and man, they had me on all kinds of medications. I mean, I was up to over 20 medications at a time taken. It was just putting me all over the realm. And I decided then while I was at that program that it just kind of touched me. And what was funny is how this worked is on Wednesday of that day, we got to go ride the horses. So there was only a certain amount of horses. So we had to do in groups. And I got in the second group and I got on this horse, man. I'm going to tell you how fired up I was. His name's Buster. I still remember it today. It was a roping horse. And I go riding it. And one of the gentlemen that was working, we were talking and I was telling him about it. And he said, well, you want to ride again on the next group? Man, let me just tell you, I was fired up. I was like, yes, I'm going to ride again. I don't want to ride again. And so when we got back to the group area, my team leader said, hey, DeWayne, come here with me. And so we walked around the back of the building. There was like two other guys, and we jumped in the van, and we started taking off. I said, where are we going? He said, oh, we're going back to the compound, to the retreat place, because we had left to come over where the horses were. And I was like, why? Like, I'm supposed to ride this horse again. He said, oh, I got a video call I got to do. We don't have enough room for everybody, so I had to pick a couple people to come back, and I just chose you. Man, I was mad. I was mad. I ain't gonna lie. I was mad. So we get back to the lodge, and he says, hey, I'm going in here. You got about 2 hours before everybody's going to get back, so go chill out. Well, one of the other guys took off, and I'm standing there, man, and I'm looking at this mountaintop right here at me in Northern California. Something came over me, man. In tennis shoes, I climbed that mountain all the way to the top.
Oh, wow.
And when I was climbing that mountain, man, I'm just telling you, something was, I started getting real emotional. And the stuff that I had learned through the week of just trying to turn things over to God and just trying to live, I got up there and like I said, this was my last option. So I fell to my knees and I begged God to take all my pain away. And I made a deal with him. If you take all my pain away, I'll do whatever you ask him. And I immediately felt his presence. It was like a warm blanket to come over me.
Right.
And I gave my life to the Lord right there.
That's amazing.
Gave my life to the Lord. And I knew there was something special about it. I called my kids who had left me because of all this. And I told them, I said, hey, they were teenagers. And I said, things are going to change. Dad's going to change and things are going to look up. Things are happening. I took a picture. I took a selfie up there just because I looked back at it and I kind of knew that things were going to be different. And so I come back down off of that mountain and I told everybody kind of what happened. And on Friday, before we left, I ended up getting baptized in the hot tub in Northern California. And I was like, man, life's going to be great now. I've got the Holy Spirit in me, Jesus in my heart. I believe in God, man, and come back home. And I was in a marriage that was just volatile, man. It wasn't a marriage that should have never started to happen to begin with. And I was like, God's going to work all this out. God's going to do it all. And lo and behold, no, he didn't. He removed me from that marriage. I ended up getting a divorce 6 months later. I stopped taking all my medication and I started living. I lost my house. I lost everything that I had. I lost a little side business of lawn care that I did on the side, some to help, but I was okay with it because I said, God's got me for a reason. Right. He's not doing this for no reason. Like I didn't climb that mountaintop and beg him and feel all that for him just to turn his back on me. So I kept my faith, even though it was hard, man. It was hard. Like I didn't know where I was going to next.
We will return after this quick ad break.
The William H. Bill Butler Jr. Foundation is on a mission to honor first responders and support those who serve. We provide scholarships for families who have lost a hero in the line of duty, offer second chances to juvenile offenders who are working to rebuild their future, and help new recruits pursuing careers as first responders. Through generous donations and the sale of merchandise, we're building a community that uplifts, empowers, and creates lasting impact. You can be a part of this mission as well. Visit 8158podcast.com to donate or shop today. Together, we can support those who serve, honor those we've lost, and give hope to those who need it most. Behind every badge is a story, and behind every story is a sacrifice. This is the 8158 podcast, where we honor the lives and legacies of first responders and their families. If our mission speaks to your heart, if these stories move you like they move us, join us on Patreon. For just $5 a month, you'll get ad-free listening, exclusive merchandise, behind-the-scenes content, and video episodes only available to our patrons. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement, and you can be a part of it. Support us at patreon.com/8158podcast. Let's continue to share the stories that deserve to be heard.
And so then I started around with the Navy SEAL guy, and then he started introducing me some other people that were heavy into ministry, that were veterans and stuff like that. So we got to talking, man, and in late 2024, I just started praying to God, like, what are you trying to tell me here? What are you trying to do here? And he just kept saying, pay it forward. You always say, if I could just help one person, if I could just help one person. And this Mighty Oaks Foundation didn't have a campus in Southeast. They got one in Ohio, one in Texas, one in California, and one in Virginia. And it came to me when I was talking to him, was like, you need to start one right here in the Southeast. So I started thinking about it and just praying and just letting God move in it. And that's where the name Shepherd's Light Foundation came in. And it was the same model almost. It's a peer on peer. All the instructors, the people that had gone through it, had been through the same thing that we've been through. And so I started that, and I filed the paperwork just to get a name for it in October or November of 2024. And man, I was just like, how am I going to do this? Like, I've isolated myself from the world. Like, this thing takes donations. I don't want to talk to people. I still don't want to be around people, and all that kind of stuff. And he just kept molding me over time for this, and just putting things in place for me. And I tell you, if you know anything about a 501c3, and not the easy form, I'm talking about the 70-page form that you have to file through the federal government.
Yes.
I filed all that myself. I didn't have any help. I didn't get a lawyer. I didn't get anything. And I filed it myself in April of 2025. And it came back in September of 2025, approved by the federal government.
Wow.
That was pretty amazing, because it should have never come back that quick.
Right.
And plus doing it by myself, I was expecting some errors and all that. Now, boom, you're ready to go. So in the meantime of that, I had been on TikTok and doing some ministry stuff over there, and just telling people about this, just trying to put the name out and trying to generate it. And lo and behold, God put enough people in my lives, and the right people, that we were able to make this happen, and to get a group of men and women that believed in what Shepherd's Light Foundation was to help military veterans and first responders dealing with PTS. I don't like to call it PTSD, because it's not a disorder.
Right.
It's something that we go through. And so PTS,
it's an injury that happens to you.
That's correct. It's not a disorder, man. I hate that word. So we started doing this, and started getting it together and organizing it, and start doing some fundraisers. And we did that. And I've got the instructors together, and we got instructor training done. And, people that had been in the field, who had went through this kind of stuff, who were dealing with it. And I'm happy to say, I'm joyful to say that last month we had our first, what we call as a journey of hope and healing through Jesus Christ, is what we do. And what we do is we pick these, right now it's just men that are going through all this, and it's a burden-free 5-day retreat. You don't have to pay anything for it. We pay for all your travel expenses, lodging. We pay for every bit of it. All you got to do is just show up. All you got to do is just show up. So we put a group of men through that as our first inaugural journey last month. And man, I'm just tell you, it's been a success. Every one of them guys, it was like flipping a light switch with them. They are on fire. They can see the difference. They know what they're doing in life. They're coming back out to be better leaders in their household, amongst themselves, in their communities, man. And these guys are wanting to jump on board already, because they believe in it just that quick. That's why I said, just so many people are hurting that they don't feel like there's any hope or healing out there for them. And we just introduced just a little bit of it to them, and how God can work in your life. And you do not have to let the things of this world, like depression, anxiety, addict, alcoholic, identify you. That's not your identity. Your identity is you're a child of God and what he
Right.
wants you to be for your purpose.
Right.
And we tell them that, and we teach them that, and we teach them that do not conform to this world and what the world tells you you are, because that's not who you are.
Exactly.
And we live every day as a person who is not defined by that, who actually knows what their identity is and what their purpose in life is. And we help build them. So this program, it went for 5 days, right? But we also have a follow-up aftercare for 6 months where we do
wow.
remotely. So I have a director of aftercare, and he does every 2 weeks for the first 2 months. And then after that, it's once a month that they meet and they go through and just keep reinforcing what we have taught them over that retreat.
That is amazing. That
Yeah.
is amazing. I got to say, that is definitely something that a lot of first responders and veterans could use.
Yes.
And I'm definitely proud of the work that you're doing. I really am. It blows my mind. God works, and he's just working his thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, we are very familiar with the 501c3s because we have one with the William H. Bill Butler Jr. Foundation
Mhm.
in honor of my cousin. And, we help first responders with their mental health and also, get them counseling, and for new recruits who are trying to get into the field, help them with their schooling and books,
Mhm.
um, families of the fallen, if they were injured. We give them scholarships for that kind of stuff. And also, we started trying to involve juvenile offenders who want to become first responders, maybe helping them out and helping to change and reframe their thinking from that kind of behavior and lifestyle to being more productive people in society so that they can have a healthier life or, if they can qualify, become a first responder. So we kind of help them with that.
Awesome.
So that's kind of like our mission in life, and we did that just because we felt like that's what my cousin would have wanted us to do in honor of
Mhm.
him, because he wouldn't want us to, just kind of continuously grovel and grieve over him. He would want us to utilize this situation and make it a positive and to help people, because that's who he was. He loved helping people. He was
Yeah,
just
that's
that kind of
amazing.
guy.
Yeah.
And what you're
Yeah,
doing is amazing.
I appreciate it, man. I tell you, it's happened so fast, and it just come all together so fast that it's just out there. And what I love is that we got the first class through and we're
Mhm.
seeing the results, and it's not talk anymore. It's not like, hey, this is what Shepherd Light Foundation is, and this is what we want to do, and this is how we're going to try to get there. Now it's we're there, and we've already been through the program, and now results are being seen. So now
That's
let's start the
amazing.
next one. Let's start the next group. So we're already planning for the next journey, already to bring more guys in. I had guys from Detroit, Michigan, Oklahoma City come in last
Mhm.
month. It's just not the Southeast. We won't bring anybody in that needs it, and
Okay.
there's a need for them. We just have it location in here in the Southeast is where we're going to host them at. But this is open to anybody across the nation. Yeah,
Okay. And that's shepherdslight.org if
it's
people want to look it up.
shepherdslightfoundation.org.
Foundation. Okay.
Mhm.
Shepherd's Light. I'm going to write it down for foundation.org. So, because the reason why I'm writing it down is because my wife and I, uh, we're on, we're DJs on a radio station that is first responder based. We were
Okay.
invited to be on that because of the podcast and stuff. We started this podcast the first day of January of 25 because my cousin lost his life in June of 24. And October, we started doing the radio station. So what I could do is I can promote this on the radio station and tell people what it's about. And it's all first responder based and military based. Everybody that is a DJ is all first responders except for my wife and I.
Mm.
We are like supporters because of our podcast. We were able to get on there. And also, we do have our own radio station that we own ourselves.
Okay.
And we are starting next week uh, a new program on Sunday, and that is with the upstate chaplain. He is a DJ on our station during the week. He's we call him the Upstate Cowboy because he's from New York, but he lives in South Carolina.
Okay.
He lives in Myrtle Beach, actually. And what I could do is I could give him your information, and he could talk about that on Sundays,
Okay. That'd be great. That'd be
and
great.
that'll go out. So we'll be able to promote it on both stations
Mhm.
and kind of tell everybody what it's about, and that'll help you out a little bit more, and hopefully you'll get some more donations and help more people, or
Yes.
maybe more people will want to get involved. And yeah, so the upstate chaplain, he is former military and law enforcement,
Okay. That's
and he's
awesome.
a really good friend of mine. I love that guy. He's amazing.
Mhm.
And he's also a DJ on the Thin Line Rock station as well. I don't know if you ever heard of the Thin Line
No,
Rock
no. I'm
station.
gonna write that down. Thin Line Rock Station. Okay. Yeah, we're
That's
gonna move into. So it's just based for men right now, just because
yes,
starting this, I didn't just didn't have the resources. You know what I mean? Like how am I going
absolutely.
to do all this? And so it just come up within the last month and a half. My director of aftercare, his wife is into ministry and stuff, and she has said that it's been laid on her heart to help these women,
The ladies, yeah.
and so we are starting to meet and start to get a game plan on how we want to do this for the women part of it too. And she's going to run that. So we're going to open the door up in the future, hopefully by the end of 2026, that we'll be hosting these for women too.
Okay, that would be awesome. Are you going to like rotate? So when you do a men's class, and then you do a female class, and just kind of alternate them that way, you think?
The ultimate goal is to host one of these a month.
Wow,
Host one
that's
of these a month.
that would be amazing.
So we had got the funding in for the first group, and while I was planning that one, I had a donor come in and said, "Well, you got to start planning for your second one while you're doing your first one. You can't wait." And I was like, "Well, that takes donations." He said, "Well, you got it." He said, "So make it happen." So we are already starting on that, and by the grace of God, that He's put people in my life that's helping with that right now. The need's going to be so much greater by trying to get this to once a month. And we as of right now, we'd like to switch it back and forth between the men and women when we can. But ultimately,
Hmm.
I'd love to get to where we're hosting once a month for everybody, because the need is so huge out there right now.
Oh yeah,
The need is huge,
absolutely,
and yeah,
absolutely. It is definitely needed, and we have come across many first responders that could use this program. Many.
yes, yes. I mean, I found so many on just doing TikTok, just trying to spread the word of the foundation on TikTok of how many people are in need, and that are hurting, and just need somebody to talk to on there, and just trying to push it out. So yeah, it's been laid on my heart. It's my passion. I've come out of the darkness. There is light, and just to try to help the other people before they decide they want to check out, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I mean, we can't believe the lies that the devil is telling us, and that's
No.
what he wants us to know, and that's what he wants
Yeah.
us to believe. And if it's they say 22 a day. We know that's way off. That's way off. That's just the veterans. That's not even counting active military. It's not counting our first responders. That's not counting
Hmm.
any of those.
Yeah.
So one is too many. But if we can
Yes.
help that one, then we're doing something. We're
Yeah.
doing something to make a difference. So I like that one to turn into two, and that two to turn into four, and that four to turn into eight, eight and then 16. You know what I mean? Just build it, just keep going. I want this to grow authentically, and want
Yeah.
God's hand on it, and let Him do it. But that's where we're at right now, is just trying to get there, and get as many people through this program as we can get them, and just help them out.
That's amazing. We'll do what we can to help promote you on the stations, and we'll see what we can do to try to drive some traffic your way.
I sure do appreciate that. I do.
Yeah.
It means a lot, because it's when you're out there and you're in the dark, it's hard to see that help that's out there. And that's
Absolutely.
why I'm trying to find the ways of, like this right here, of trying to reach those people, to let them know that we're here. We're here.
Yeah. There
We're
is
here
light.
for you. Yeah,
There
we're
is
here
light.
for you. Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's pretty much all I have for you right now. Is there anything you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, first of all, for the opportunity to come on and just share what we're doing at Shepherd's Light Foundation. And I just want to just say to our listeners and our viewers, man, our people are putting it on the front line for us every single day. They're out here supporting us, protecting us, out here in our communities and the world abroad. We have to be there for them. It doesn't just shut off when they come home or when they go in and put the car keys up in their wallet at night time. They deal with things that most people don't even have to think of, that they have to deal with on a daily basis. And we're here at Shepherd's Light is to help these people. And any donations, any support, volunteers, we will accept it. We will accept it. So reach out to us at shepherdslightfoundation.org or info@shepherdslightfoundation.org. We do a newsletter that comes out and just try to help people. This journey that we send these men on of hope and healing, we already know these people are in a bad spot. Most of them don't work at that point. They're already past that. They're in such a far dark. So we relieve that burden by giving them a financial free retreat and journey. So we cover it all, every expense. All they have to do is just show up. Just show up. And that's all we ask them to do is just show up and have an open mind for us. So if anybody out there listening wants to get involved or help, please reach out. Just please reach out because there's so many people out there that are hurting. And I was one of those people. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference.
That is amazing. Yeah, we will do what we can to help and support you guys as much as we can because I really love what you're doing and it's just amazing. God is definitely working in your favor and he's going to continue to do this for you guys and he's going to continue to help you and people who are in need, who are seeking help, who want the help and bring people into the fold.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
So that's pretty awesome. I really appreciate you coming on here and taking the time out of your day to talk with us. It's been an honor to talk with you, and it's great to sit down and talk to somebody who's actually taking action and doing something.
Appreciate it.
There's not enough of us taking action and doing something about the situation.
Right. Yep. Show me.
Yeah.
You can talk about it, but show me.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's right,
again,
buddy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you very much.
You're very welcome. Said we will try to help promote you as much as we can, and we'll mention it on the radio station. I'm usually on there Tuesdays and Thursdays for 4 hours in the mornings from 8 to noon
On
the Thin Line Rock Station. Yeah,
Thin Line Rock Station.
Yeah,
okay.
Our personal radio station is Slightly Unhinged Radio, and we also have a media network. So, the radio station, we have a bunch of different genres of music that we play. But in the mornings, State Cowboy, he plays generally country music, and that's from from 8 to 10, Monday through Saturday. And then Sunday, he's going to start doing the Upstate Chaplain and do a 4-hour block of his sermons and stuff because he is a certified chaplain as well.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool. If you don't mind, if you want to tell him to on my TikTok profile, or I can send it to you. I have a link tree, which also I have music out on Apple on all the platforms. It's underneath the artist name Shepherd's Light, and it's all Christian music, but it's done towards people in the darkness and trying to come out and that kind of thing. So we do have all types of genre, but I think I got out maybe 30-something songs right now.
Okay, so is that stuff that you created, or?
So what it was, I have a volunteer that does, and the musician part, the instrument part is AI'd, but the words are all written by one of my volunteers. And we did that. They thought, well, how can we help donate? They didn't have the monetization themselves. So they said, well, we can help with this music. So that's why we uploaded on the platforms. And if it's getting used, then it's going to bring in something. So that was their donation to the Shepherd's Light, was to help do that. So that's what we got that for. And then also, if anybody's interested in any apparel, Christian apparel that does with military, first responders, and that kind of stuff, we have an online print-on-demand store. It's called FaithfulFrontline.com, and all the portion of the proceeds go to Shepherd's Light Foundation for that also.
Okay. As far as the music, would you like us to play that music during that segment?
You can if you want to. The main song that we really I use a lot is called "Guardians of Courage."
Okay.
And it's underneath the artist name Shepherd's Light. It's on all platforms, and that has actually my logo right here on the album cover on it.
Okay. If you could send me in an email as much information about the songs that you have, and where we can find them, because we have to pay for them. We actually have to pay for them so that, because the FCC and all that stuff, we have to actually like technically own the music, not like own the rights to the music, but we have to basically purchase the music in order to play it online.
Yeah.
So we don't get in trouble with the the higher ups, the FCC and the playlists and all that stuff. I mean, we normally just buy songs for like 10 cents a piece.
Yeah.
So, but it just shows that we actually paid for it and that we own. So if you have like 30 songs and you want to take a donation for those songs, we can give you a donation and just consider that like a payment for those songs.
Okay.
Those 30 songs.
I'll send them to you, man. Just put it out there. If people can hear it, you do the one song or whatever. But I don't know if you want all 30 of them. But you just have to. We'll see. I'll definitely send you the link to it, and you can listen to them and see.
Okay.
Which would work out best for you, because there's all different types of genre.
We could play them all, because that's what we do on Slightly Unhinged Radio. We play all different genres of music.
Okay. Cool.
Everything from classic rock all the way to rap,
reggae to gospel to every bit of it. So
that's everything that we have on our radio station.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll send you the links to it, man.
It gets wild. Yeah, we'll have to listen to that, and then we could, if we could purchase some of the music or all of it. I mean, the more music we have, the better, because then that just allows us to rotate out music so that people aren't hearing the same stuff over and over again.
Right.
Especially on Sunday, we don't want to play the same music every day, but because there's like separation rules that go along with that. We can't play the same songs within 3 hours of each other. Can't be the same artist. There's like a whole other world of doing broadcasting that we're learning and finding out. It's amazing, but like yourself, everything fell into place for us. It started off, and to be honest with you, I am not a very social person. I did not want to talk to people. I didn't want to be around people. And after my cousin passed, and my wife said, "You should do a podcast," and I'm like, "Are you crazy?" It's like, I'm not a social. I can't talk to people. That's just not who I am. And I just decided, you know what? For my cousin, I'm going to do something. I have to. And because of that, I stepped out of my shell. I gained the strength. And, obviously God is working in us to help people. And we were on the news. We did out of Lexington, Kentucky. So the gal came out and interviewed me about the podcast and all this stuff. And we went to mental health awareness summits, and we're just being very active in helping our first responders and the radio stations as well. And we're also DJs on a radio station in Canada.
Wow. You got a lot going on.
We're just like, and we work full-time jobs, and we're like going crazy.
Yeah. I can only imagine. Man. Whew, it's a lot.
Yeah. But
I'll get that sent up over to you in the email.
That'd be great
for you. Yeah, I can do that.
And then we could play those songs. We can get those songs from you. We could play them on the radio station on Sundays, and I'm sure people will enjoy that. And that would be awesome.
Cool.
Appreciate you, and I love you, brother. You're doing a fabulous job. Keep it up, and stay in touch. We do have an off-duty edition and to this podcast, but we have 2 other podcasts that we do too. So.
All right, man. I'll check it all out, man. I'll be in touch, man. Love you, brother. Love you.
All right. Take care. Bye. Have a good night.
Thank you for joining us on 8158 Stories of Sacrifice. Every story we share is a tribute to the courage and resilience of first responders and their families. If this episode impacted, encouraged, or inspired you, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with someone who supports first responders. Follow us on all social media platforms at 8158 Podcast for updates. 8158 Stories of Sacrifice is a team effort. Rico brings the stories to life through casting, writing, original music, and editing. Brianne Shipley as production manager, handling booking, social media, graphics, promotion, marketing, website management, and logo design. Please visit our website at 8158podcast.com. For questions, collaborations, or to share your story, our email address is contactus@8158podcast.com. Until next time, let's continue to honor the legacies and remember the sacrifices of those who serve, every brave man and woman on the front lines, protecting and defending us all. This is Rico signing off and honoring 8158.